You've been lied to. Not by a person, not by a company, by a word. A word so overused, so stretched, so loaded with science fiction and corporate buzzwords and breathless headlines, that most of us have completely lost track of what it actually means. That word is intelligence. And here's the uncomfortable truth. We don't know what intelligence is. We've never agreed on a definition. And yet, we've decided to build machines that have it. Or at least, machines that seem to have it, without ever answering that foundational question. So, when you hear the phrase, artificial intelligence, you're not hearing a precise scientific term. You're hearing a mirror that reflects back whatever you most fear, most hope for, or most misunderstand about your own mind. And that should stop you cold. Because if we're building something we can't define, to do things we can't fully predict, based on a model of cognition we don't fully understand, then the real question isn't, is AI dangerous? The real question is, do we even know what we're building? Here's what most people think AI is. A robot. A superintelligence. A thing that thinks. Maybe a thing that feels. Something that will either save humanity or end it, depending on which documentary you watched last. But that framing, that dramatic, cinematic, deeply human framing, is almost entirely wrong. And it's wrong in a way that's quietly dangerous. Because right now, AI is already inside your life, deciding what news you read, flagging whether your loan gets approved, screening your job application before a human ever sees your name, recommending the medication dosage in a clinical decision support system, predicting who gets parole and who doesn't. These are not science fiction scenarios. They are Tuesday. And yet, the public conversation about AI is still largely stuck in a future that may never arrive, obsessing over hypothetical superintelligence, while the present tense consequences of existing AI systems quietly reshape institutions, economies, and human lives. This is the core problem. Not that AI is too powerful, but that we've been looking in the wrong direction entirely. We've been watching the horizon for a monster, while something much stranger and much harder to name is already sitting at the table with us. To understand what's happening now, you have to go back. Not to 2023, not to 1997, when Deep Blue beat Kasparov at chess. You have to go back to 1950, a quiet room at Manchester University. A man named Alan Turing, who had helped break Nazi encryption and arguably shortened World War II, is sitting with a question that had never been asked quite so precisely before. Can machines think? He knew immediately that the question was broken. That think was too slippery, too philosophical, too tied up in centuries of debate about consciousness and the soul to ever produce a clean answer. So, he did something characteristically brilliant. He replaced the question with a game. The imitation game. Today we call it the Turing test. The idea was simple. If a machine could converse with a human in a way that was indistinguishable from another human, then, for all practical purposes, it was intelligent. Notice what Turing did there. He didn't define intelligence. He sidestepped it. He replaced an unanswerable philosophical question with a measurable behavioral one. And that substitution, that elegant pragmatic sleight of hand, has quietly governed AI research for 70 years. We stopped asking what intelligence is and started asking what intelligence looks like. We built systems that could play chess better than grandmasters. Then systems that could recognize faces better than humans, translate languages, diagnose cancers from scans, write code, generate images, hold conversations that made people cry. But here's what none of those achievements actually proved: that any of these systems understood a single thing they were doing. In 1980, philosopher John Searle proposed a thought experiment that is still unresolved today. Imagine you're locked in a room. Someone passes you notes written in Chinese. You don't speak Chinese, but you have an enormous rule book. A lookup table so comprehensive that by following its instructions, you can pass the correct Chinese symbols back through the slot. To everyone outside the room, you appear to speak Chinese fluently. But do you understand Chinese? Searle said no. And modern AI, for all its staggering capability, may be the most sophisticated Chinese room ever constructed. It processes, it correlates, it predicts, but does it comprehend? We still don't know. Here is the insight that changes everything, if you're willing to sit with it. Intelligence, as we've built it, is fundamentally a pattern completion engine. Feed a model enough text from the internet, enough books, enough conversations, enough of the recorded output of human thought, and it learns to predict what word comes next. That's it.